Someone told me a baby has been conceived and born since the last time I posted, which is true because it was like 9 months ago. So I'm posting now. I'm not even going to make excuses, but I'm posting. So this video is about the Kenyan Readathon, and by this time, I think if you don't know me, you'll know me by the end of the video, so it's fine. My name is the channel name. So I just finished reading this yesterday, which was 29th September. Today is 30th, which is the last day of the readathon. FYI, the readathon is hosted by Lexa. Go to her channel and subscribe there also. So I finished with this book, which is nonfiction, but I was also reading this novel, Coming to Birth, by Marjorie Oluthe McCoy. Sanamu, a comic by Avanduvosi Studios, and it was written and illustrated by Addison Mbugua, Salim Busuru, Yvonne Wanyoike, and Nur Cherubi. And then also this comic, also from Avanduvosi Studios. It's in Kiswahili, by the way. It's written and illustrated by Salim Busuru and Mbasu Mbwabi. Yeah. So I think I'll begin with the one. I'll just do this in the order that I read them. So the first thing I read was the novel, Coming to Birth. So this was a set book a while ago in Kenyan high schools, like a literature set book studied for themes and things. And I understand why it was. It really has that feel of a set book. And some people DM'd me and told me how they read it in school. I was just telling them they're revealing their ages, but it's fine because I don't know when this was studied in school, but I know it was. Maybe I'm just young. I'm not that young, but whatever. So it's very Kenyan. Marjorie married a Kenyan. I'm not sure where she's from. She was born in Southampton, England, and she married a Luo man. Because the only reason I'm saying that is because this book is from the perspective of a Luo girl, and that Luo culture really seeps into everything, and that's the only reason I'm mentioning her tribe. But I guess Marjorie then really understood the culture because it sounds authentic. Because the story follows Paulina, who is 16 when the book begins, and the reason I'm reacting that way is because she's married. By the time the book starts, she is married to a guy called Martin, who is also a Luo, I think, and he's bringing her to Nairobi. He works in Nairobi. He's bringing her over, and it's like 1956 or something when it starts. So this is just before Kenyan independence, and it gives a really good view of especially Nairobi at the time. And like just the vibe, because it's one thing reading history books, but a novel conveys, because I'm sure it's pulled on actual events, so a novel just conveys some more interesting, intricate things that were actually happening. So I liked it. It follows the life of Paulina and Martin, mostly Paulina, and more or less her journey with literal childbirth, because she's not able to have a child. She has about 3 or 4 miscarriages, and then she gets a son, and then I don't know that I should spoil. I'm about to spoil. So if you don't want it to be spoiled, just click like 10 seconds from this moment. She gets a son. He's killed when he's still quite young, and then at the end of the book, she's pregnant again. Okay, for the spoiler people who did want spoilers, you can come back. So it's how long? How long is this book? If you can't tell, I'm doing this video freestyle. It's 150 pages. It actually was surprisingly interesting. Usually I don't read, I call them slice of life because I read manga and watch anime, and that's what it's called there. By slice of life, I mean just everyday people living their lives. Like, so and so woke up, they went to school, and then this happened. I never read such stories. I'm very much either reading fantasy or crime or just dramatic things. So I'm surprised that this was actually interesting to me. By interesting, I mean like I wanted to keep flipping the pages. I thought I would just have to like, I'm just gonna read this because I found it in my best friend's place and it was September, so I was like, oh, okay, let me add this to my TBR. I hadn't actually planned on reading it, so when I found it, I was like, fine. Then I started reading it and I was enjoying it. I was like flipping the pages. You know the feeling you get when you're reading like a crime book or something. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I think it's a good way to learn of Kenya at the time because it runs from like 20 years, for like 20 years from like 1956 to 1978, I think. So it's just before independence and then the consequences and the aftermath of independence. Kenya gained independence in 1963 for those who are not Kenyan. So this is how I'd prefer learning history rather than reading textbooks. And that's why I'm saying I'm not surprised it was a set book. And then it strikes me how the vibe of Nairobi has always been the same. Polluted, dirty, bustling, rushed, but then also very melting pot of cultures and all the other nice things that you can find in Nairobi. But that really struck me. Like even if this was so many years ago, I really felt that yeah, this is Nairobi. But yeah, anyway. If you didn't read this as a set book already, I suggest reading it. Just if you want to learn about that period of time. Okay. Then I went to Mohonja, which is a comic, as I said, by Avan Duvosi. I don't know what it is you're seeing. I hope you're seeing something. Yeah, so it's like 30 something, like 30 pages, 34 pages. And yeah, so it's a really short comic, but it's really interesting. And so the first thing is the characters are anthropomorphic animals. Hey, are you seeing what happens when you read? You know words. If you remember what anthropomorphic means, it's animals that are acting like humans, that have human traits. So there's a brother, I've forgotten their names because I have 2-second memory. There's a brother and a sister who are like the main characters. The sister is Mohonja, so that's who Mohonja is. I'm forgetting the brother's name. Onasio. Thank God I found a panel with his name. That was lucky. Onasio is the brother, and the brother is are they bulls? What animals are these? Are they like cows? Bulls? I don't know. Whatever. This is what happens when you grow up in the city. Some people must be rolling their eyes at me right now. So these two go from the capital city. I don't know if it's really Nairobi or it's just a fictional capital city, and they go visit their aunt in the village. And the thing I wanted to point out is that they themselves are animals, but they also own animals. Like this panel, I don't know if you can see, they're standing at the back here. And then these are animals grazing. It's like this thing in Looney Tunes where Pluto is, I don't know which Looney Tunes character is an anthropomorphic dog, and then there's a character who is just a normal dog, and they're in the same universe. I really just thought that was just very funny, but that happened. So if you end up reading this, please note that. Anyway, so when they go there, it's like, what should I say this? It's like, I guess a bit of, it's definitely fantasy because there's like giants and stuff and talking animals, but I'd say it's almost horror-ish, thriller-ish maybe, because what happens is that this village they go to visit the aunt is being it has a giant problem. Like giants eat people in the night. So like if you're late getting home and you're like walking and you're on the way, you actually shouldn't be doing that because the giants are about at that time and you shall be eaten. So basically, I don't know, I don't want to spoil. I don't know whether I should spoil. Okay, I think when I'm editing this, I'll just put the thing where you should jump if you want to skip, but I'm just gonna say what happens. So if you want to not hear the spoilers, just jump. So basically what happens is they are let me not give all the spoilers. One of them is eaten actually by a giant, and then the other saves them, the other one. I've just come from saying I know English. I don't know English. I don't know how to put words together. So yeah, basically someone is eaten and then saved, and they're still alive. I was expecting them to just die, because if you've read Beasts from Venus, also from Avandubosi, which you should read it, the ending, oh, please just go find all the Avandubosi books. I mean comics. This is from Venus, which I have reviewed on my channel before. So go find that video. Mohonja, and then Sanamu, which I will talk about in a minute. Yeah, so I expected the person who was eaten to just be like, yeah, they've been eaten and that's the end, but actually they are saved. But I won't spoil the ending. The ending is funny. And I was just like, huh? And it's a very abrupt ending. So yeah. I think I should have told the spoiler people to come back a while ago, but I'll just put the thing on the screen for them. Yeah, so that was Mohonja. Very interesting and short. I read both Mohonja and Sanamu in the same day, so it's a very quick read, but it's very funny, thriller-ish, and like you never know what's gonna happen next. I liked that. Sanamu is I'm so excited about it. When I turned the last page, I felt like crying, because this is volume 1, and so we're waiting for volume 2. And when I was reading, I tweeted to them and they said it's coming soon. So coming soon could be actually any time, because it came out a year ago. So coming soon could be literally any time, but okay, I guess this happens when you're reading. Coming soon could be any time, but I hope soon is actually soon. So Sanamu is so Sanamu is basically a book about 3 brothers. Their names are Bomani, Lumbani, and Kalfani. They are also anthropomorphic animals, but they didn't start that way. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say this. They were once human, but I don't even know we don't yet know how they turned into not totally human. I actually can't tell what they are. I feel like they're just creatures. One of them looks like a leopard, like a cat, one of the cat animals. Clearly I failed biology or whatever in school, because I can't tell what any of these animals actually are. I don't know if you can see, probably not that well, but him right here, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, whatever. But so all the brothers just they're basically not human, if you can see. So I don't know, please tell me. I don't know what they are, but yeah. So they are looking for an object, a spear, a great spear of something. Let me find their name. This is why you should prepare before sitting in front of a camera, honestly. The black spear. Whew, thank God. It looks like this, by the way. I should just show you this panel, because they're drawing. This is why I love Avandubosi Studios. I was on a Twitter space recently where we were talking about books, and I was just basically doing marketing for them. I hope they'll pay me. Guys, Avandubosi, hello, please just send me your books for free. I don't even want money. I just want all your things. Thanks. If you don't ask, you won't receive. So at least I can say I asked. Anyway, so they're looking for this black spear to save their mom. Something like that. I'm saying it, I'm unsure, because they've not even gotten into doing that. The story ends when they're still in a flashback of their life before they became these creatures. And so obviously it starts with them as they are now. And yeah, they're on a quest to avenge their mother by slaying the witch doctor who killed her. So That's what the whole story is going to be about. And all we find out at the beginning from this volume is them finding the spear, and then it goes into a flashback, and then we still don't know really. It still ends when it's in a flashback. Basically, their village got was attacked or went to war with another village, and their father was the lead general of the army of their village, and so their father goes off to war, and the book cuts when they are still fighting. And at this time they're kids, they're like not older than 10, they're less than 10 years old during this flashback. And so the one thing that I really think the writers got down is the sibling relationship. It is so funny. I think it's Kalfani. I don't know which one it is. I think it's Kalfani who is so sarcastic, and I was like, this is me. This is totally me. I feel like I have to read something he said. I think I'll do it during their flashback. No, I'll do it during the first pages, so I don't go too far and show something you don't want to see. If you're buying the book, which you should. Where is that page? I know I'll know it when I see it. But will I really know it when I see it? Clearly I won't. Oh yeah. So let me just explain what's happening. So this one, the brother who is a leopard, whatever, they pass through water, and then when they come out, he shakes. Yeah, this is him shaking himself dry. You know what dogs do with their fur, and so of course water splashes everywhere. So the other brother is like, do you really have to do that? You know you're not an animal, right? Then he's like, I don't ask you to cover your sores when we're eating. I guess the other brother has sores, as in SORES. We are all making sacrifices here. That's him talking. Then he again says, what's the difference anyway? You just came out of water too. And then the other brother is like, the difference is that you don't bathe. And that's how it's written. And this panel is gold. So the guy talking and saying, you don't bathe is here. And then this is who he's talking to. And then I don't know if you can see the other brother's expression. I think it's not focusing well. Let me see. Just look at it. Look at his expression. He's like these fools. Lol. Anyway, I thought that was funny. But anyway, the humor is humorful. It's humoring properly. Like, it's such a serious book because there's fighting, there's killing, there's a lot of blood on screen. By the way, I guess trigger warning. The people don't die off screen. They die there, and you'll see blood. But in the midst of the seriousness of the plot, the humor is off the hook, because that dynamic they have, even in the flashback when they were boys, it's still there. And when you read it, just tag yourself. Which brother are you? Personally, I think I'm Kalfani. I'm pretty sure that's who that is. I'm not sure. I'm the brother who is sarcastic and who was saying you don't bathe. And he said it like, the way it was written, it was like, you, full stop, don't, full stop, bathe. And then the bathe is in bold. So I could hear him saying it. Anyway, please read Sanamu. As I said, Avanduvosi said the second volume is coming out soon. The last book I read, which I was saying I finished last night, and you can see I tagged so many things, is Money Wise. Create, Grow, and Preserve Wealth by Rina Karina Hicks. This book, I've been wanting to read it for like at least a year, because I found out about it a year ago. And it's exactly 100 pages long. It's very short. It's basically financial advice for Kenyans, because it's a Kenyan who wrote it, and therefore all the things she's talking about are Kenyan, and the money is Kenya shillings when you read it, and she's giving examples. It is so simply written. In fact, I was telling my brother this should be studied in Kenyan schools. There should be like a small course called, I don't know, financial whatever, and they just read this book and discuss it and be told like what taxes are and how taxes work. Because like when you come to this other side of being an adult and you realize you have to know all these things, you're just like, wait, they told me about Pythagorean theorem, but they didn't tell me about taxes. So please, Kenyan government, start teaching people about these things. So it's in like, I think 9 chapters, and it starts with defining, before it gets into the money, it starts by working through what your purpose is, like what is your purpose in life, because your purpose in life will more often not tend to help you choose your career, and your career is the method through which you will gain money. So it's like, what's your purpose in life? The first chapter is what drives you. Then it goes to how to set goals. Those chapters are very short. That's what, as I said, it's very simply written to the point. It doesn't waste too much time, but it just lets you know enough for you to function, and to understand what the writer is trying to say. And then it goes into defining how to define your net worth, what is inflation, how to calculate your future costs, and to just have, budgeting, that whole thing. Even before you gain the money that you want, you should be able to have these things in mind and not just be like freestyle. Then it goes into how to get out of debt and managing debt. Then it goes to how to save, because you can't save before, or rather the advice is that you should pay off your debts before you start saving. So it goes into saving. It talks about, it even has a section where it advises people who are still in school how to make money on the side, like selling clothes, offering services, and she goes into a bit of detail, just like giving ideas basically to people who are in school, on like side hustles. Then it goes into now investing. It talks about the different ways of investing in Kenya, things like money market funds and the stock market and things like that. Then it goes into insurance. There's a whole chapter on insurance and how to protect your assets. Then it ends by talking about how to live a lifestyle of giving. So the author is Christian, and she talks a lot about God. But even if you're not Christian, it just talks about how to give back. Like, even if the whole point of even reading this book is managing your money, it's talking about how you should give back to society. So it has lots of examples. This book is just full of examples of people, and I love that. It makes it less of a textbook and more of just like a conversation with the author. And so she talks about people's lives and how they got out of debt, different people's purposes in life, how different, the pitfalls of not understanding the investments you're getting into, and like how even her herself has ever lost money because of getting into investments that she didn't understand, or that she was convinced to get into without really having time to read about it and know the risks. There's a lot of talk of risk, because of course a big part of investing is risk taking. So I think it should be compulsory reading at some stage in life, of which these things, even it says in the book, it's the earlier you start, the better. So it should be compulsory reading in at least high schools or something. It should be like the syllabus set book for a small side class that meets like once a month or something. But I feel like it's really, really helpful, especially if you're young, because starting young is the best. Read this if you're in your 20s, if you're in your 20s and below, please. And anyone, actually, just read this if you haven't read it, or if you feel like you want to know about financial things but you don't know where to start, and there are all these books like Think and Grow Rich, which, by the way, she gives a list of books for you to, like, for further reading. But if you just want somewhere easy to start, this is great before you dive into any more hardcore things. Rina Karina Hicks, she has a YouTube channel, which is how I found out about this book. Also, I will mention that I got this, if you're Kenyan and you're watching this, which I'm guessing is almost everyone who's watching this, I got this from Rafu Books. I think they are rafubooks.com. Then I got, so at Avanduvusi, you can find them on social media, but they said their books are now at Naivas stores and they're also being sold on Nuria the bookstore, Nuria the honest bookstore. Just search Nuria bookstore on Google and you'll find them. They're online. I think they're fully online. I don't know if they're also physical. Either way, you can find Avandu's books in both those places. And then, yeah, I mean, this is what are this? This is Peak Library, East African publishers. Maybe TBC, because as I said, I got this from my best friend, so I don't know where she got it. She also probably got it from someone else. But start with TBC, probably Textbook Center. And then I forgot to show you all, but because I bought Sanamu when it came out, and they were doing like a launch or something. My copy came with 2 huge illustrations, like wall illustrations, I guess, or wherever you wanna put them, and they are so cool. I'm not entirely sure who drew them. Yeah, anyway, they are just so cool. That's one. And then Sanamu. Now, so these are the 3 brothers, as you can see. They look so cool. Avandu's design is off the hook, and that's why I love them so much, because a lot of the reason I read comics is just that visual pleasure. Also, I want to mention that the copy I got has like beginning designs, like initial designs for the characters and settings at the back. So that was also cool to see, like from concept design to the final product. Yeah, as you can see, those are like their physical drawings and everything. So yeah, this was A Monster Somewhere. I think I think they really succeed in character design. So Avanduvosi artists, I think Salim and anyone else of the credited people who are working on the art. It's top class. Okay, cool. That's it from me. I hope this video wasn't too long. I will see you when I see you. I can't make any promises. I've learned my lesson on not making promises, but I'll see you in the next video, or rather you can see me in the next few seconds if you just click on another of my videos, I guess. But anyways, bye.